Alright, how you guys doing today? First things first, if you like the art, like the video. If you like my voice, like the video. Today's story is coming from r/creepyencounters titled Someone Impersonating a Police Officer. A few years back, I, 23 female, was driving home after taking my dad to the airport for a late flight. It was already dark when I left the airport, and I still had a 3-hour drive home. A few hours into the drive, I get recalculated to some windy back road highway. There were no cars or streetlights, so it was a pretty dark and creepy road. I turned a curve and noticed a black car come out of nowhere and start to ride my bumper. Then, the blue lights. The road was dark, so I had to drive for a minute to find a spot with at least a few small lights so I could pull over. The officer came up to my window and asked if I knew that my tags were expired. I thought it was kinda odd because I was driving my mom's car, and usually she's pretty on top of things like that. But it was more so the way he talked that made me uneasy. He was speaking pretty fast, like he was in a hurry or something. As he's standing at my window, before he even gets my license and registration, his radio beeps and tells him that he has to go to another call. He practically runs back to the car and speeds off. I head back home, half weirded out, half thanking God that I didn't get a ticket, and I kind of brush it off until I go outside to my car the next day and find that my tags weren't due to expire for another 2 more months. It could have been a simple mistake, but I couldn't help recalling how weird the whole incident was. He could have misread the number, but looking back, I wonder what could have happened if he was someone with bad intentions. From then on, I pull over only in well-populated areas, and if a safe option is unavailable, I call 911 to make them aware. And a comment. When my gran was in her last hospital stay, Arkansas was having a blue light arrest, a fake cop pulling women over, and yes, just what it says. Then they finally caught him, but I tippy-toed across that state. And then another comment. That is terrifying. I had something happen in 2016 that I think that it was similar to that. I was taking care of my grandma who has dementia at night because my mom was working the night shift. I would get home at like midnight every night, and one night on my way home I got into the city I live in. The road I was on is pitch black at night, barely any street lights, and I just hated driving on that road. I passed an unmarked black car that's sitting on the side of the road. It pulls out behind me and turns on suspicious looking lights. There was just a blue and white light on the dash. I don't know what to do, but I definitely didn't want to pull over on this empty, desolate road alone. I ended up calling 911 because I wanted to know if it was a real officer or not, and to say that I felt unsafe. Turns out, it's not a real police officer, and the operator tells me not to pull over. I was freaking the F out. I start to speed up, the car chased me for a few more minutes, and then pulled back over and turned their lights off. I was so scared, and I told the operator what was going on, and they were sending one of their officers out to where I said the car was when it pulled back over. No one was following me at that point. I eventually made it home, scared out of my mind, and I found out shortly after that someone was impersonating a police officer and robbing people on the side of the road. Just so everyone knows, you can call 911 to verify that an actual police officer is pulling you over, especially if their car is unmarked. And then one last comment. My parents and I know a lot of cops, and one time, one of them gave my mom some advice on how to handle a cop, real or fake, trying to pull you over when you're a woman and you're alone and you're driving at night, or in an area where there aren't a lot of people or cars around. He told her that one of the first things to do was call 911, tell them your location, and ask if there are any officers in the area. He also told her that if you're driving in an area that's dark and rather empty, keep driving until you can find a gas station, or a parking lot, or a store to pull over in. That way you're in a well-lit area and there are people around to act as witnesses or deterrents for any kind of shady people. Alright, and that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you guys have yourselves a great day. Peace.